Well, everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is my show, Wasteland Talks, where I talk about whatever the hell I want, and trying out something new this week, which is my new show, My Playlist. And this is hopefully a way that I can expand the different types of things that I talk about on this channel. And starting things off, this will be a way that I could talk to different people about what music means something to them and what are some of their favorite songs. And this particular playlist, highlighting 2022, this is based off of my top songs of 2022, based off of my Spotify and what I listen to. So I'm going to be talking about the top 10 songs that popped up on my list and get a little bit of sense of my taste in music and why these popped up on there. And hopefully this is something people are interested in, and I'll have more people come on here to talk about their music tastes. But to get things started, my number 10 song was Runaways by The Killers. Now, up until pretty recently, especially watching the movie Blinded by the Light, it took that long for me to actually appreciate Bruce Springsteen's music and listen to it, even though I am from New Jersey. I've always been more of a Bon Jovi kid, if you wanted to pick one of the two of them. Or the true king of music in New Jersey from Hoboken, Billy Joel, but we'll get there. But this song, Runaways by The Killers, sounds just like a Bruce Springsteen song, except the singer of The Killers can sing better than Bruce Springsteen. And I just love this story, this song, somebody, thinking about their marriage and walking through and their child and trying to really find that value again and that spark in that relationship. And I'm a huge fan of The Killers. Hot Fuss is quite the album from top to bottom, and I really enjoyed this song Runaways because I do feel like it hits on a deep emotional level. I love the musicality of it. It has a very classic rock kind of sound. It sounds like a Bruce Springsteen song, like I said. A lot like a Bruce Springsteen song. And it's just something that really hits me, and I've been a fan of this song since I heard it for the first time shortly after it was released, and has always stuck with me. So, not surprised that wound up on my list. My number 9, The Rubber Band Man by The Spinners. And no, this was not because I heard it in Avengers Infinity War when the Guardians were introduced, but I could see why you might think that way. But, because there's at least one other song that I heard from a Marvel property that, that's why I've heard of it. This song I first heard when I was growing up. I used to watch infomercials on DirecTV all the time, and the Guthrie Renker ones. The Midnight Special was this old music show that would come on, and comedians would come on too. And I remember seeing the Spinners performing Rubber Band Man on this infomercial and just being like, I love this. And ever since then, I'm a big fan of Motown and that era of rhythm and blues and R&B, and I just love the Rubber Band Man. There's very few songs that get me to want to get up and dance quite like the Rubber Band Man, and played at my wedding, had a ball dancing to it, and it's just so joyful, and there's not a ton to it lyrically, but it's just a fun time. It's a wonderful little Motown era song that I absolutely love, and it just brings me a lot of joy and makes me want to get up and move, and sometimes that's just enough. This one is because I'm a huge fan of Tenacious D, and that's my number 8, I Think I Love You, which I do love 70s music a lot. So, I love the David Cassidy version and the Partridge Family version of this. But then when I found out that Tenacious D was covering this for the Croods too, and then I heard it and just blah, 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 and I'm just oh, Jack Black's gonna have a ball with this. And they even add a little bit of it's I do know I love you, I just haven't felt this feeling before, I'm going insane, and just the high energy of it, and even the little tweak to the messaging of it, I appreciate it. And it's such a fun, ridiculous song in the hands of Tenacious D when they're taking just this silly 70s one-hit wonder type song, this pop song, and they just go to town with it, and there's so much personality in it, and it made me really happy when it popped up in the Croods when I saw that. Best part of the movie. My number 7 here is Hearts on Fire by John Cafferty from the Rocky IV soundtrack, because there are very few songs out there that could get me pumped up and excited quite like Hearts on Fire. It makes me want to run up a mountain in Russia and just scream Drago at the top of my lungs. It's just the way that there's just builds and builds and builds, the energy of it, just everything about it is just so much fun. And it's just such an 80s like montage song. It just has that feeling so perfectly. And just any song from the Rocky soundtrack is going to get you pumped up, and this definitely does. My number 6 is Need to Know by Doja Cat. This is probably the most different song that you're going to find on this list. I love Doja Cat. I think the first time I ever heard of Doja Cat was when she popped up in that episode of Dave, where he was totally connecting with her, was going to go on a date, and then just self-sabotages the whole thing. And I felt so bad at the end of that episode for Doja Cat. And then I actually heard like her song Woman, and I'm like, oh, I like this. And then I heard this one, which this one's a lot more sexually explicit, but I really appreciate the sex positivity message of it. And yeah, it's dirty, it's sexy, and it's just like, I like it. And I appreciate the energy that Doja Cat brings to the song. It's really catchy, and just the whole energy about it and what it's about, I feel like is a very important message as somebody who is very sex positive and wishes that society would get the hell over itself and just appreciate the fact that like it's purely natural to want to do things with each other. I appreciate the song on a whole different level, but Doja Cat's great. I love her music. My number 5 is Good Thing by Paul Revere and the Raiders, which, yes, I have heard of Paul Revere and the Raiders before and listened to some of their music even before Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out. But the amount of Paul Revere and the Raiders that I listened to exponentially grew after the release of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And this is just like that perfect British invasion wave of rock music from that 60s era of rock music with like the early rock guitar and stuff like that. And this is just like and just has just such a great hook and energy to it, and it makes me think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and just has that energy, and I love it. I think Paul Revere and the Raiders is one of my favorite bands of the 60s. They just had such catchy, engaging, and fun songs. They just want to get you up and moving, and they have great rock rhythm. My number 4 is Weekend Mode by the Rainbow Zombie Unicorns. And this is the most random song, and I have no idea. I do not remember how I heard this song for the first time, but this has like this deep thumping kind of rhythm to it. This dual vocals from a female vocalist and a male vocalist from the band, and they're obviously like German or Northern European, and it's such a banging song. And like, it's shocking that I have so little metal music on here and like hard rock music, because like that's what I listen to most, but apparently not, obviously, according to this. But it's my favorite genre, and this is this big thumping sound. They have a cool groove to it, and this song, you know, just pumps you. Like, you throw this on a Friday and you're just like, it's weekend mode now, and it just gets you excited to just not work. And it has a really fun energy about it. My number 3, the true greatest musician from New Jersey, Billy Joel, with Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. And this is just such a wonderful song that takes you on such a journey. Like, you go on from all kinds of time changes to different tempos to different instruments. Like, I watched a live version of this, and the guy on the horns just like flipping through like oboes and saxophones and all these different things. And just the musicality of it is so impressive. This story of this couple falling in and out of love, and just all of that, it it's so New Jersey, New York that it just hits on another level for me. It feels so Italian American, hits on another level for me. And I just appreciate the song so much, and I love it. And played this at my wedding too. Actually, a bunch of these were at my wedding, including this one. And I was the first one on the dance floor to go for my number 2, which is Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel, which is one of the most clever, fun ways for an artist to sing about having sex and talking about his penis, because just the amount of different ways that he talks about his sledgehammer. And please, if you didn't realize what the song was about, I feel bad for you, because come on now. This is just, I want to get up and dance every second that this song's on. Peter Gabriel, high energy. This has so much personality. It's such a wonderful mixture of Peter Gabriel's sensibilities in the 1980s, and just everything about the music video is nuts and iconic. And I just want to do the chicken dance from this. But it's such a high energy and exciting and fun song. I just love it. And my number 1, which apparently I listened to like 60 something times, A Man Without Love by Engelbert Humperdinck. Now I have to say, I love Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Tom Jones. I listen to so much Tom Jones. So I'm a big fan of this type of music. I listen to so much Tom Jones. And I've heard of Engelbert Humperdinck, but I don't think I ever heard a song of Engelbert Humperdinck until I watched the first episode of Moon Knight. And then this just got stuck in my head. And I love it because it's a type of music that I love and wish that I had heard before. And this song is just the vocalizations of Engelbert Humperdinck, just the way that it builds and soars and gets you right into it. And it's a sad but melancholic type of song that really just hooks you and has so much energy about it, though. I just have so much fun with this. And it's definitely why this popped up on here. But here's some honorable mentions just to throw in. I won't get into depth, but these are some of my other songs that popped up on here, like Hold the Line by Toto. Africa's definitely on here too. Bernadette by the Four Tops. Love the Four Tops. Run, Run Away by Slade. If you have never heard of Slade before, check out their music. They're fun, hard rock music from the 70s. Doom and Gloom, some modern Rolling Stones. Was actually in Avengers Endgame. No Easy Way Out from the Rocky IV soundtrack, because, of course, Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. Also, Jennifer Saunders' version from Shrek 2, also a banger. Ain't It Fun by Paramore. Song inspired me to write a script named after it. Maybe someday people will see it. Reach Out, I'll Be There by the Four Tops. The Book of Boba Fett theme and the Mandalorian theme, because Ludwig Göransson, great. And Miserlou from Dick Dale, Pulp Fiction. So those are just some ideas of what I listened to in 2022, and very few of them are actually modern songs because I don't really listen to a whole lot of that. But hey, if you have some song recommendations for me to shake up my listening, throw it in the comments below. Hopefully I'll have some more people coming on and sharing their tastes in music. We could share some great songs and, just love music together. So hopefully this one pops off, but hopefully you enjoyed this first ever episode of my playlist. But those are my thoughts and my feelings and my taste in music. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some music. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.